Hi everyone, so in this video I wanted to do a sketchbook tour because I just finished this sketchbook. I think I started it around the end of March, maybe mid-March, and my goal was to finish it by the end of April. And I think it's May the 8th right now, but you'll be seeing this tomorrow, which will be May the 9th. Yep, just looked at my calendar. So I kind of met my goal, sort of, like a week late, but I was really close to finishing it for the last week, and I just this morning did a few pages of studies at the end, and now it's complete. And just a disclaimer about this sketchbook, I mostly used it for practicing. There's not that many like finished things in here, and a lot of the stuff I didn't put a lot of time or effort into, which is kind of, I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, but a lot of them were really quick scribbles and studies and sketches, but maybe you'll find that interesting. And a lot of the stuff is experimental, so I'll start something and it'll look bad and then I'll move on and I don't erase it. So that's kind of what I did with this sketchbook. So let's get started. This first page was a sketch for a collaboration that I did a while ago, and I actually painted it digitally. This page here is from a book I did of like real life pen drawings, so I taped them in here. I don't sketch on both sides of the page because I just don't like to do that, because sometimes I'll have a nice drawing here, but then I might sketch on the other side, and then like the drawing isn't its own piece of paper. But if it's really quick studies, I'll sketch on both sides, but usually I don't, and I'll like tape something in on this side so that this page is still its own page because these are taped on. And this is upside down because that's what it looks like. I don't know, it's kind of weird. So it's upside down because I'm left-handed, and these rings always get in the way of my hand when I'm drawing in a sketchbook, even though I prefer ringed sketchbooks, but it just bothers me. So I was going to use this sketchbook backwards, but I just thought that would be kind of confusing, so I decided not to. And here is just a planning I did for a drawing. I didn't end up actually finishing the drawing though, but that's the planning. And I have like a colored thumbnail sketch of it somewhere. I don't know if it's in this sketchbook, but this is taped on. And here's some random doodles of heads and faces. I was trying to develop my style in this sketchbook, and I think just by looking at this, I think I've kind of progressed it a little bit in the sketchbook. I think I've improved a little bit. This is taped in nature pen and ink wash, like ballpoint pen and ink wash drawings. On this side of the page, it's taped in again. And here's just like a random design for a character that I did, style practice, something that I didn't finish because it wasn't working out and I didn't erase it. But I like to leave in the stuff that didn't work out because sometimes, I don't know, it's just kind of interesting to look at. Sketch from photo reference. Yeah, I use a lot of photo references in here for practice. So like I'll just search in Google like hands, and then I'll draw the hands. But these are from my own hand, my right hand. And here's some more pen doodles. Random practice for a character design, just for fun. All of this is for fun and for practice. Mostly two drawings from reference using graphite and an ink wash. Here's a little watercolor doodle. The good thing about this sketchbook is that it takes watercolor really well, it takes Copics really well, it takes graphite really well, it takes ink really well, and that's why I liked using it a lot, because it's hard to find a sketchbook that won't bleed to the other side. Like this sketchbook won't unless you color, like it'll bleed onto the back, but it won't go to the next page unless you really saturate it with ink. Here's some more drawings from photo reference, some sketches I did. This is in Copics, and ink. I kind of like this one. It's on my Instagram. It's just like a different style than usual. I don't know. I thought it came out kind of interesting. Like it doesn't look like I drew that. Here's some bright colors I used. I think I used watercolor, those like koi brush watercolor markers, I think. I don't really know how to use them, but I just use them as regular markers here. Here's a watercolor thing that didn't really work out, but I taped it in my sketchbook because I didn't want to just throw it away. And here's some stuff that I rushed really badly, but they're my 3 characters that I made a while ago. It doesn't look that good. But they all kind of have like powers that are the same as each other. It's not important. Weird faces, just no. doodles. I was brainstorming ideas for my like aquatic theme series that I'm doing. It's just like a way to keep myself motivated to keep making drawings because I want to kind of expand on my series. So like I'm doing a bunch of drawings that relate to the water. These are gesture drawings I taped in, and here was me planning out starfish. I want to do a starfish one, but I couldn't find something that I liked, so I'm going to come back to that later. But starfish drawing, highlighter houses. I don't know why I did that. Oh, a lot of these sketches were for my portfolio for school, that's why, to apply to get in. Here's a weird experimental doodle thing. I use those watercolor brushes again, just as like a pop of color because sometimes it's just fun to mindlessly make swirls on a page, and there's a little face in the middle too. Here's my jellyfish one. This is the sketch that I ended up going with, and this was me planning out all of the sketches for it. I like jellyfish. I like sketching them. They just have such a flow about them. It's kind of like hair where you can kind of make them shaped however you want them to be. Well, there's definitely limitations, but you can do a lot with them. For some reason, I like this little sketch here. That might be really bright for you, but I don't know. I like the way I shaded the eyes. Here's something I drew from a place that I go a lot. I think the perspective gets a little bit off up here, but like a little thumbnail sketch and stuff. A lot of the sketches throughout here are on my Instagram because I kind of post my sketches there a lot. Here's the octopus planning one. That's a recent video I did. Well, these are all kind of recent, like within the last month or two, but this was the planning for it. I did some watercolor. The colors are a bit more toned down and not so red and blue. Like the blue is more of a purpley, the red's more of a pinkish, orange, peachy kind of color. Had a lot of fun with that one. The final version of it. This was I do this a lot where I scan my sketches and I make them bigger, and then I use that to trace onto my watercolor paper or marker paper or whatever I'm using. Then I don't want to just throw it away, so I'll just tape it into my sketchbook. It's a good way to fill the space. Here are two little doodles I did. I kind of like the style of this. I don't draw characters with like kind of like fantasy type elements on them that much, even though I like doing that. And I know that's, I don't know, you can just kind of do whatever you want with like fantasy type stuff. So I don't do that enough, and it's really fun, so I should do it more. But I use Copic markers and a red pencil crayon for that. Well, it's more of a pink pencil crayon. Some scribbles. Pen scribbles, trying to figure out anatomy and stuff like that. Not really from photo. Here's some photo references for anatomy, and just looking at these, I think I've improved. Like, these aren't that... I also probably didn't put much thought or effort into these because I tend to kind of rush stuff when I'm doing studies, which is not a good thing. Or I should probably take my time and really observe what I'm looking at, and I'm trying to work on that, and throughout this sketchbook is what I've been trying to work on. Here are some cute little doodles. I don't know if I posted these to my Instagram, but they're all kind of weird in their own way. These are with Copic markers. I tried to stick to a color palette, just some cute little doodles because I like the way Copic markers look in sketchbooks. I just scribbled with a Copic marker and outlined it with pen for some reason. I don't know, I was trying to like overcome a mini little art block or something, or just try to fill the space. Here's a sketch that I kind of like, a style of a face that I kind of like too, and I'm making this into a digital drawing. It's pretty much done, but I'm just, it's not completely polished yet, so it's not done yet. There's a page of practice heads and some more sketches. I don't think any of these are from reference. Like, I'll tell you if they are. I can't think back that much, but I like to draw things from my head a lot just to like kind of test myself. And I'll use references if I'm practicing. These are poses I did for my head. For my head, like all of this is just, yeah. Some pen doodles, just scribbling, kind of mindlessly scribbling. A lot of the stuff in here is I would describe as mindless scribbling. Expressions, I guess I was trying to draw a profile view, and I taped in a little skull drawing I did in a different sketchbook. I cut it out, put it in here just because. Some cute little animals and just like a girl sitting. I guess I was just trying to like get a feel for the way I wanted to stylize things in this sketchbook, which is why a lot of stuff is really unfinished looking, but I guess that's the whole point of a sketchbook. You don't need to finish everything. Well, nothing is really finished. definitely don't like how that turned out. I think I was just more experimenting. I don't like that page. Some outdoor mini thumbnail sketches. I had a lot of fun with these. Some of these are places I've been, some of these I just looked up photos and tried to just quickly do like a little gesture, little sketch of them. Some more practice, style practice, I guess, mouth practice. I think I need to work on my line quality too when I'm sketching. Here's a planning for a drawing I might make one day. I always forget it's here, but I want to make this drawing and a little doodle. Some more practice, just like a cute little pose there. Doodled that too. I don't really know how else to describe these. These are practice from photos, trying to learn anatomy, trying to become better at anatomy because that's important. Anatomy is important. And just some legs, mostly legs I guess here, and feet, and just like I struggle with shoulders and torsos a lot too. So here's I used a brush pen that was running out of ink here, so that's why it looks all faded and like scratchy. Just some random, I don't know, I would describe this as a test page. I don't know. This is kind of a test page too. I drew this and I liked the way it looked, and then once I added color it looked terrible. So, and I was trying to see how dark I could make the watercolor and what it would look like if it got like too much pigment on it, and just like mindless experimenting. Hands, a face where the eyes are really too far apart and she kind of looks cross-eyed, or like the opposite of cross-eyed. Style practice. Some more style practice here. A pose, eyes. The sketchbook is bigger than I thought. Just a little, I looked up a picture of like a store on Google Images, just tried to do a little sketch of it. And I tried to draw a young character, I tried to draw a slightly older looking character because I don't do that enough. I find it's easy to make characters look really old, but it's hard to get that like middle age kind of look. Like to draw really youthful looking characters and then like older looking characters, but the middle ages are what's difficult to draw. This was going to be a drawing, but then I decided not to because I didn't like the direction it was heading. It's kind of a weird concept. I might go back to that, I don't know. Here's a page I kind of like. I don't know, like I just like the way this sketch turned out. I like the shading that I did. Just like more style experimenting, and then this weird pose. She has a really long, weirdly shaped torso. Didn't put much effort into the hands, and I didn't even draw the feet. I would like this one if her head wasn't too big, but I kind of like the style of it, but her head just bothers me. Here's some more anatomy practice from photos. I'm trying to learn how to draw torsos of guys. I think I'm starting to get there. It's just, I find it hard to draw like the shoulder part, like how does that join with the torso? That's the part I'm trying to work on. Legs too, just like the muscles, like I want to do some more muscle studies. I've been, towards the end of the sketchbook, I do some more muscle studies, so I want to do more of that. Some practice for like male faces, because that's something I want to be able to draw. Because I want to be able to draw both genders equally, not just be more comfortable with girls than boys. Make this closer. Here's just some more style practice. I like when my pages are full like this. There's just a lot of variety here of me just trying stuff out. And my sketches are super messy, like just so messy. And I like to kind of annotate the stuff I'm doing. So like that says awkward facial expression. I did hair, check mark, but messy. So like I like the hair, but it's messy. I don't know what that is. Two dark circles, made the lines around his eyes too dark. Here's a thumbnail for something I was planning. A secret thing. Secrets. That's not what it turned out to be though. I said don't like eyebrows so messy, so I'm sure if that wasn't so messy it would be better. Trying out poses, expressions, trying to get the face shape right. And this is kind of for mermaid. I wanted to see if I could quickly sketch someone swimming, and I don't know, that didn't really work out. Don't think I put enough effort into that. I wanted to erase this for some reason. I just don't like the way it looks. It just looks awkward. But here's some like pose practice for my head. I kind of like the way the torso turned out here, but I don't think that's entirely correct. And I don't think I did this right. Her hand looks kind of weird, but I like doodling little flowy poses like this. It's pretty fun. I tried to do more on this page and just didn't work, and I just wrote bad on this page. because everything, this is kind of a thumbnail sketch for this drawing, which is a finished one, but I don't know, I think the proportions look a little bit weird, and I would definitely change it if I could, but I like this part of the drawing, just the cat part. I think that part's cute. I like the groceries, but I don't know, like around this area, I think the proportions are pretty off. Some sketching, some weird sketches for a drawing. Here's some, well, that is so light. I didn't go over it with my darker pencil. That's another thing I've kind of discovered with this, is I like to draw sketches in like a 4H pencil that I have. So it's really light, and then you go over it with a darker, softer lead so that you can like define the details. Here's a sketch for something for my brother, but the proportions here turned out looking really weird. So I took it and I did it digitally, and then I ended up just making it a portrait, like I cropped off that part. And I made his head smaller because his head's too big, and then everything, I don't know. I think the problem is I'm like sitting, like not at an angle, so like everything gets smaller down here and his head's too big, so it looks like this to me. Or when I'm sitting, it looks like this, which looks better, but it actually looks like that. I don't know if that makes sense. And I covered up this page because it's a secret, so it's a collaboration I'm working on. This is the sketch for it, the first sketch, so can't show that. Just a little girl with a hood, backpack. My sketchbook squeaks when I flip the pages. These are drawings from photo reference, trying to just get my poses to not look so stiff. That's something I want to work on, is making poses not so stiff, because you don't want your drawings to look stiff, you want them to have motion. If they're stiff, then they're not really that interesting. Like when things are more fluid and have more motion to them, then they look a lot more lifelike. And here's some little sketches I was doing, and I like her face of the little witch. I was thinking of posting that to my Instagram at some point, but I don't know. It's kind of surrounded by weirder sketches, so here's like a page of just, I don't even really know how to describe this, but I didn't really fill this page up too much. So what I did with this page, I was planning out a whale drawing with a mermaid, so that's the initial sketch. Here's a more detailed sketch, and this is a directly reference from a photo. I just wanted to see if I could capture it. Like on Google Image, I think I just searched for like reaching forward or something, and then I just drew that exactly the way it looked on the photo, just to like see if I can make it look the same. More practice for guys, but I want to make them look more like not so like stiff and like static. Like I want them to have more movement and more like expression. So planning for mermaid, trying to study muscles in the arms. This is going to become a drawing. I'm working on it right now. It's digital. And here's some expressions, trying to work on how to draw faces of male characters. Trying to not make all their faces look the same too, because I don't want to fall into that trap. And this is the stuff I just did today. Some like directly referenced from pictures, trying to capture the shape of like the muscles of the arms, and like this is completely referenced even from drawings too. Like copying stuff is a really good way to learn, especially anatomy, so definitely recommend. It's what helps me figure out how to draw stuff, is by looking at how they look. So, and some of them were referenced from other artists, the way they stylize, so I was trying to like kind of stylize the same way they do. And I'm sorry this doesn't end very excitingly, but you know, that's the last page of my sketchbook. That's it. I don't think I tore very many pages out of here either, just a few I think, maybe even like less than 5, so that is also really good for me. So that is it. That is my sketchbook. Like I'd say mid-March to now is probably the span this took me to fill. And I can only fill it that fast because I don't spend much time on my sketches, unless I'm trying to spend more time though. I find I get better results and I retain more knowledge if I spend more time on my sketches. So with the next sketchbook I get, I want to spend more time on each sketch. Not like necessarily finish stuff, but like try to improve my line quality, because that's something I really want to work on too, is trying to make my sketches look a bit neater and not so messy and vague. So that's something that I really want to work on. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in my next video.